today I will be building and organizing my home library. I have waited for this day for my entire life. All I've ever had is one simple bookshelf to keep all my books in, never on display and never for me to look at. Obviously, looking behind me, I have the shelves already built, so I'll take you back in time to when we actually built them, which was one of the very first things we did for my room. I have 4 IKEA Billy bookshelves behind me. I got them on Black Friday last year, and I have been anxiously waiting for the time where I was able to use them. This is going to be my first ever library, and I'm so excited. And yes, I know technically a library I think is 1,000 books, and I'm not anywhere close to there yet, but I'm still calling it my library, and hopefully one day I can get to 1,000 books, but there's no rush on that. I have my whole life to read ahead of me. It wasn't entirely too hard. The written manual, neither of us learned best that way, so we opted to watching a YouTube video. Once we watched that, it actually became very simple, and then the other 3 books that came after that, it flew by in a breeze. The trickiest part though was getting them mounted to the wall. We don't have any kids here, or I guess my dogs come over occasionally, but other than that, there's no really reason why they would fall. But this is on carpet, so we thought, why not just do it the right way the first time? It's not gonna hurt to mount them, so we did that, and they're very sturdy. I can't move them at all. I don't even know where to start because I've been looking forward to this day forever. And once I knew where I was moving to and to know I had space for an entire wall filled with books, I have been thinking about it every single day since. So I have all my books in boxes out in the living room. I'm gonna bring them in here, and then we can figure out how I want to arrange them on these shelves. This is like one of those things that you look forward to for so long, and then once it's finally here, I'm just in freeze mode and I don't know what to do. I think that's going to be the first step, is bringing all the boxes in here. I'm going to take you with me to show you what I'm currently working with. I have been keeping all the things that I'm not currently working on out here in the living room. Here are all of my books, and then all of these boxes are also books. I really have no concept of how much space these books are going to take up on my shelf. That quite literally, it took my breath away, but I have them all in here and I have plenty of space to organize because I think I'm gonna go mainly by genre. Obviously putting series and authors together, but other than that, I don't really care if they're in alphabetical order or anything, but I do want to display my special editions somehow. So yeah, we gotta get working on all of these, and then this box is books I want to sell, so they will not be going on the bookshelf. The philosophy I've made for myself regarding my bookshelf is that that if I have not read the book, it's not allowed to go on my shelf, because I don't want to get in the habit of just buying books so I can have them for the sake of looking good and having a full bookshelf. So my physical TBR mostly is at my parents' house, and then I have some books in here I haven't read yet, and I'm gonna bring them there, and then it can be like a little shopping trip. When I want to go pick up a new book, I can just run there and get the new one, because book shopping is really fun, but it's really expensive. And if I already have a bunch of books that I have not read yet, I want to get through as many of those this year as possible. Let's get to organizing. All of the books that I own and have also read are now laid out. It made me realize how many books I own that I haven't read yet, and I have some fun video ideas planned for later this year or summer, where hopefully I'll be able to get through more of my physical TBR. And obviously, not every book I've read I own a copy of. I only try to own copies of ones that I enjoyed or have a possibility of rereading in the future. Otherwise, I sell them or read them on my Kindle or go to the library, with the exception of hint hint, a couple books that I really wasn't a huge fan of and were some of my least favorite of the year. But I have the signed copies of the entire set, so still trying to mourn what I thought that series would be, which is why it is still going to go on my shelf temporarily. Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to show you kind of what I have figured out so far. I also want to mention I'm going to do a full in-depth tour of my bookshelf. I'm just going to kind of go around the general basis of what I have going on here. I have some mystery, a ton of fantasy. I tried to sort them by author and series. Some romance books. I have some more romance books up there. Literary fiction there and there. More fantasy, dystopian, more fantasy, childhood fantasy books I love. Some nonfiction, classics, true crime. And now I have to figure out where I want to put each thing. I want my favorite series and books to be smack in the middle, probably these four shelves. So I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing Harry Potter, Throne of Glass, Hunger Games, Powerless, Shadowhunters. I'm gonna do that for probably the ones here in the middle, and it's going to be a lot of rearranging until I like how it's looking, but I think I'm just gonna start by setting the books just in stacks on each shelf to try to figure out where I want each thing, because I want it to be generally by genre, if that makes any sense at all. Let me know if anyone else is like this, but I really cannot stand box sets. I don't know why. I just don't like the look of this part. So I took all of my books out of that. Aside from the Hunger Games, I actually like that one. This is what that one looks like. But otherwise, like, I don't like all this, so I'm gonna still keep them, but I'm probably gonna just store them somewhere. And then maybe one day I'll want to put them back in there, because I don't want to completely get rid of them, but I did take all of them off of my books. This is what I'm working with. I'm really excited with how much space I had. I tried to do some math for how much it would do, but clearly I suck at math, because nowhere is this near what I thought it would be, but in a good way. And I just realized I forgot Twilight. Poor little Twilight. I think I'm gonna start with these ones. And I think I'm gonna display them like this. That's last. 6. Well, I'm just gonna do this for now. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then obviously once I run out of space for doing this with books, I'll go back to, you know, like the traditional spine out. And then my copy of Manacled. I also have my little butterbeer I want to put there. One thing I love about the Shadowhunters books is the spines, because they line up perfectly. I feel like just having those 3 shelves already are making it feel so much more like a bookshelf. And now I'm kind of torn if I want to move everything from this shelf all the way over there so I don't have a ton of empty spacing. So I gotta think on that one. But in the meantime, I'm gonna work on my Lauren Roberts shelf. theme of this video is me changing my mind about everything. So I did shift a couple things around and I'll show you what I did. It's nothing too crazy. I decided that I want all of the books that are going to be right behind me when I'm filming. I'll probably be sitting right here. So I moved my Harry Potters and my Sarah J Maas shelf here, and then I have my other Harry Potters there with Shadowhunters. I moved Powerless up, and then I'm going to try to fill up these shelves before I fill up any of the other ones. And I put my Hunger Games there for the meantime, and I'm going to have a lot of empty shelf space, so I think I'm just going to put my physical TBR on one of these shelves, and then I can pick from there as if it's a library. At this point, the bookshelves are pretty much done. I have a couple little trinkets I want to add aside from the trinkets that are my bookends. First, I have my marshmallow jelly cat, and marshmallows remind me of s'mores, and s'mores remind me of summer. And the books that remind me of summer most are my romance books, so I think I'm going to put it by there. That's adorable. And then the only other trinket I have at this moment is my Vampire Diaries candle I got when I was in Mystic Falls. And I think I'm going to put it by my copy of Twilight because vampires. Now that I have two fully empty shelves, I'm going to put my physical TBR in there, and I'm going to go get the rest of my physical TBR at the other house and bring it here. I'd like to introduce my finalized bookshelves. I'm sure some things are going to change, especially when I get some new releases in that I have pre-ordered, but for the most part, they are done, and I have almost all of these two shelves filled. And then I am really happy that I have a lot of space for it to continue to grow, because it would really suck to not be able to keep more books that I love, that I'm reading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I am so obsessed with this room. This was the final thing I needed to do for it, and now it's completely done. And I'll do a whole separate video of me going in depth of a bookshelf tour, especially with signed editions, special editions, that sort of thing. But I am really excited, and I post every Friday, so I will see you next week. Bye guys!